What's up, everybody? I'm Scott,
I'm Jason.
and you're listening to Liquid Kernedge. What's going on, buddy?
Oh man, nothing much. It's been a busy friggin' week. Down here in Scottsdale, it's the Waste Management Phoenix Open. And we're like literally maybe half a mile away from it. So it is completely traffic's awful. It's been horrible.
Oh, I bet, man. That is a fun party to be at, from what I hear. But it's also, if you're a local in the area, a bitch to be around for a couple days.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah, I mean, and the problem is that not only do you have a bunch of people, but the Waste Management Phoenix Open's big on drinking. Like they give people a chance to drink and party.
Oh, that's famous for the 16th hole.
Yeah. They started building the stanchions for that in September. They started putting the stanchions up there. Last year they had a record 700,000 people show up for the 4 days, and they're estimating 800 this year. So we'll see. Yeah, that's a lot of people to watch golf.
Dude, it's crazy. I play a PGA golf game on my Xbox to unwind from time to time, and I like to play the TPC in Scottsdale. They have that course, and it's funny.
Yeah.
When you just play just like a normal round, like if you and I were playing, there's no stands, there's no bleachers. But when you come to the TPC on the tour,
yeah,
they do it right, man. They put the stands on the 16th hole. People are hooting and hollering and cheering. It's pretty impressive.
Oh, that's kind of fun. Yeah. I like the golf games. I used to play like the Tiger Woods every 3 years. I'd buy the new Tiger Woods. Now I don't even know. Been sponsoring someone now? I don't even know.
No, it's I got the latest one. It's PGA sponsored. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but all the golf courses are there, and you get sponsorships from different companies that have all the golf clubs and clothing. It's cool, man. It's just like Tiger Woods, except you're just playing against yourself mostly. They show the scores against the other golfers, but it's a good way to unwind after a while.
We need to unwind, dude. I tell you what, man. Whether it's binge watching, whether it's drinking, whatever you need to do, you gotta unwind.
And that's true. And I want everyone to tell us their favorite way to unwind. Hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, all at Liquid Kernedge, and tell us, what's your favorite way to unwind from a long day? Because I'll tell you what, man, it has been a long couple days for me. I have a new department under me at work, so I'm trying to adjust to that. I'm trying to find a new manager, so I'm moving on up in the corporate world, and it's a bit of a brain expansion for me. I've realized how much of cruise control I've been in, if that makes sense, like mentally. The last half of last week and the first part of this week, man, I've been fried every night I come home, man. Like, it is just learning new things all the time and just trying to work within your new box and make people understand that I don't understand what they're trying to ask me yet, and they don't understand why I'm thinking outside of the box they're used to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. When I did the same thing when I started with my new company, it took me a good 3 months to kind of get the new pace, because they're very much faster paced than what I was used to. Mm-hmm. And it took me a while. Every night I was coming home exhausted. And, people disregard that. Like, I think that when you're in physical labor, that's an exhaustion too. Like if you work construction or you're working all day, go. It's an exhaustion too, but mentally there's an exhaustion that it's different, but it's just as measurable, where you come home and mentally you're just drained.
Oh yeah. I came home Friday night last week, and I tell you, man, I felt like someone drove a spike through my eye. It wasn't quite a headache, but it wasn't quite not, if that makes sense. I just couldn't concentrate. I sat down, I had some bourbon, and I tried to relax, and it still just didn't work.
Dude, we should have partied together. I came home after a long friggin' week, and we basically got Noreen and I got a bottle of wine and got some pizza and went up to the roof deck and just drank.
Yeah, I called a friend of mine, and she and I went out. We got some froyo, and then we started watching the Ted Bundy thing on Netflix just to unwind, man. And I tell you what, by the time I got done with the Ted Bundy documentary, the first episode, it was mind-blowing. I always knew he was a serial killer, but I didn't realize the extent and how charismatic this guy was.
Yeah, no, I, as you know, and maybe our listeners know too, I am like an ID freak. Like, if I could watch investigative discovery all day long about serial killers and murders and things, I would do it. And Ted Bundy, if you don't know anything about Ted Bundy, I'm gonna have to watch this documentary because I love documentaries about
Yeah.
the serial killers
Yeah.
because I mean, how about this? Usually we get this image like the serial killers are weird, scary people, but the reality is you don't become a serial killer if you don't have a charisma to lure these people in. Like you have to have that.
Yeah, and what's creepy is this documentary is based off of the tapes. An author went to the prison he was at in Florida and made a deal with him to talk about everything. So you're hearing excerpts from the tapes as they're reenacting things and going over police files, and it is just so weird and so like surreal, you know. Like I said, I got 3 episodes to go, and it's just creepy. I can't wait to finish it. And on top of that, Zac Efron's making a movie about it, or he's made a movie about it. And it's got
Zach. Who's Zach? Is Zac Efron going to be Bundy?
He's Ted Bundy. I mean,
I haven't heard what.
Yeah, it's at Sundance right now, and actually, I watched the trailer on YouTube. It's it's some weird, funky name. I forget what it's called, but it's I can't think of it off the top of my head. But man, I tell you, it's weird. It's got Jim Parsons from The Big Bang Theory in it, and John Malkovich. So it's got a pretty big all-star cast.
Wow.
And
okay.
It's called Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, that would make sense, I guess, because Ted Bundy was definitely. I mean, me personally, I look at him. I wouldn't say he was a very handsome man, but he obviously didn't have a problem with looks in the sense of he was able to get, hang out with them and stuff. But I've heard that he's also charismatic. Like he was in the Republican Party in Washington State and stuff.
Oh, he was very big in the Republican Party. He was very charismatic. We've talked about in the past how some people in a relationship, you have a reacher and a settler. He was very much the reacher in a lot of relationships that they talk about, and it worked for him. He dated well above his head because he wanted to be in a higher society, and I think that became a cover of his almost. It's just
and I want to date higher than our society. We're reachers.
We have to. I've looked in the mirror. I have to be a reacher. So
yeah. When you look like me, you're definitely reaching. Reaching.
I'm just tall. That's all I got going for me. So
That's true. But Zac Efron, huh? He's gonna play Ted Bundy. I'm gonna have to watch that one too.
Yeah, and that's I think in limited release. It's the Sundance Film Festival going on right now, and it's all the rage up there. Everyone's talking about it, and the big controversy about it is: are they romanticizing what he did? Are they making it? Is it really? It's hard to explain, but are they making it look cool to be a serial killer? Is what they're worried about.
Really?
Yeah, that's what a lot of the critics are saying. That's what they're reviewing. The reviews are. They said it's pretty good. It's not great. It's not awful, but it's not. They just want to know: is it actually? Is it? I don't know. What I'm trying to say here, man. You can see how Friday. It's been a long day.
Well, as a kind of a similar type of story, do you remember the movie Natural Born Killers?
Yeah, it's kind of what they were talking about with that, where
like they made it look like it was really cool. Yeah, like they made it look really cool that these guys are going on a murder spree and are they afraid that there's going to be like copycat stuff?
And I think that's part of the problem is they're afraid that kids today, because kids are so influenced by movies and popular culture, that they're going to see what this guy's all about. And someone's going to try to mimic him, which is, I guess, a legitimate concern because kids today are kind of dumb.
No, they are kind of dumb. I think that the one thing that Ted Bundy had, though, that I would think a lot of serial killers nowadays probably would not be able to do is Ted Bundy didn't have like, you okay, buddy?
Yeah, I'm right there.
Hello? Oh, okay. Ted Bundy didn't have all the genetic stuff that they can do and all the science that they have now.
Yeah, I don't think he gets away with
that if he tried to do that shit.
I don't think he gets away with that now. It's a whole different ballgame than it was 40 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Now, that being said, I think the other thing that's hard is like there have been some serial killers who pick off like the dregs of society, where they kill people who no one is paying attention to, or no one is, and so if you're not out there and, a popular person, then you could maybe be forgotten about. Whereas Ted Bundy was killing like college girls, man. Like, I mean, he was, he wouldn't be able to get away with
you're
that
talking
nowadays.
about like Jack the Ripper ripoffs versus the Ted Bundys of the world. And it's crazy.
Yeah.
And then you think about the other kind of serial killers that were out during that time, the John Wayne Gacy's and all the things they did. It's, I feel like this is starting a whole genre of documentaries about just how creepy these guys really were. Jeffrey Dahmer. There's a whole slew of serial killers that we've seen in our lifetime alone.
Yeah. Yeah. I think too that it seems to me that Ted Bundy had a emotional control and a patience that a lot of people don't have nowadays.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like for example, if they're going to commit, I mean, he had to be patient. He had to be controlled. He had to be selective. He had to, whereas nowadays people just want the big explosion of notoriety, and, they can, murder 35 people, but they do it in one sitting, not over the course of time.
And that's kind of what they touched on in the first episode was some of his early killings, as it were. It's how he did it, how he lured them away from big crowded parks and so forth, and just very interesting to see how he's kind of evolved over time, and like you said, how chaotic or prehistoric and archaic the police were back then, as far as communication with other counties, and they had a whole map of like, these are all the disappearing women were all up through King County and all through Washington, and there's one down in Eugene, Oregon, and I was like, that seems like that's just coincidence,
just random,
more than it's a part of this, but maybe it was. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far. It's just a very good documentary on Netflix. It's worth checking out. It's only 4 episodes, and it's definitely things that make you shiver in the night, because there are people like that out in the world, and it's sad.
Yeah. And of course you don't want to romanticize what he did, but frankly, it's kind of hard because it's so fascinating that maybe you're not romanticized by it, but you're in awe that it was able to happen so easily. Like, I mean, I had heard that he actually took people in broad daylight.
I had heard that too.
Like it wasn't like in the night or he broke into their house. I mean, broad daylight, he would make these people disappear.
Yeah, it's all very interesting to me. It's I'm curious to see how I've never read much about him. I just knew he's a serial killer, and I guess I looked at it from an ignorance is bliss perspective. Like, I don't want to know, but it's good to see, and it's good to know your history and this stuff, and because it does tend to repeat itself. And kids these days, like I said, you never know who might see this and think it's, oh man, that guy was great at how he did it, and I'm going to try to repeat that.
Yeah, well, and I think that if you want another show on Netflix that's really good, it's called Mindhunter, and it's basically it's like a drama series where they it's the premise is the start of forensic science, and what do you call those people that, like, they get in the mind of a serial killer? Profiler, yeah, the profiling. And it's based in the 60s and 70s, where they start interviewing serial killers, and they try to create a profile of what a serial killer does. And so they dramatize these 2 investigative officers from the FBI going to talk to actual serial killers. And that's kind of an interesting show too. So when you're done with Bundy, you can watch that. They've only released the first episode or the first season, but it's interesting, man, because don't you think at some point, in order to understand the serial killer, you have to be able to think and justify in your own head how you could be a serial killer?
I think so.
I mean, to chase someone down,
and that's scary in its own right, man. I watched that first episode. I had to binge watch the second season of The Punisher and just see some good old fashioned violence and gore to make myself feel better. Which was, by the way, that had it was a great second season for The Punisher, a great storyline. I'm a huge fan of John Bernthal in that role, And I am sorry that Netflix is going out of their way to cancel the Marvel shows because Disney is doing their own streaming service. Because
are they doing them now? Is that
yeah,
what it
so
is?
Netflix
Okay.
is canceling all the popular Marvel series like Daredevil and Punisher's on its way out too, which is too bad because it's a very violent, bloody, fun character to explore, just as a getaway in your mind, you know.
Yeah. We watched the On the Basis of Sex with that Ruth Bader Ginsburg movie, and I think it's hard when you do these kind of documentaries because obviously in the course of a human's life, most of us do 85% of the stuff we do is pretty mundane. You know, I go take a shower. It's kind of hard to make a movie or a documentary on it. So when you get with people that like Ted Bundy, where he has so much that you can say, okay, yeah, he did this murder and this murder and this murder. It's very easy to overlook the fact that he also went grocery shopping and he also
he had a day-to-day
took the dog.
He had a day-to-day life.
Yeah, exactly. So when you think about it, you know, any of those kind of documentaries, it's always hard because you're picking the pieces of someone's life, versus with the Punisher, you just make up the life.
Yeah. And
so this guy, you know what I mean? Like, so you can just do whatever you want and I'll make up another story. Whereas with a true life story,
yeah,
you know, if you just looked at, even as important and high powered as you are, Scott, your life has a lot of mundane activities.
Oh, my life
right?
is nothing but mundane. But you look at that though, and this is the time of year for mundane movies because it's the Oscar season, and biopics generally tend to get more notoriety with the critics. And there's one I've been following on Twitter and watching the previews for it. I can't wait to see when it comes out. It's Stan and Ollie. It's the Laurel and Hardy biopic where it's about their last tour of England in the early 1950s. And I grew up on Laurel and Hardy because my grandparents were big fans. My mom's parents, so my mom liked to watch it. So my brother and I had to watch it, and through osmosis. And now you can find all those on YouTube too. And it's fun, original comedy. It's stuff that if you and I were still doing improv, I would strive for us to mimic at some point.
Oh well, yeah, and those biopic pictures like that, a lot of like that one. I don't know anything other than what we see on the day-to-day screen. I don't know anything about Laurel and Hardy behind the scenes.
Yeah,
you know, you only see what you see. Yeah,
and that's the cool stuff to find out about. And you know, I do like those movies. It's cool to see the other side. And I realize they still romanticize a lot of those things, the mundane things that they might have gone through. They just highlight the more interesting pieces of their personal lives, but still, it's still cool to see how people got to be who they were, you know.
Yeah, well, and I think that just I think lately I've been enjoying more of the biopic movies simply for that reason that there are so many things that you couldn't make up if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like so many people's lives, you think, they actually went through that or they actually did that.
Yeah. And
so I think that while it's kind of fun to make up a story you've never heard or never seen of before, it's kind of neat to see something of a life where you didn't know that about that person, or you didn't realize, you know, they came across one way, but you're hearing about something else.
Well, it stops and makes you think. Like if someone ever had to do a biographical movie about you, what pieces of your life do they hit on, and who plays you in that role? I mean, that's everyone's thought about that. Who plays them? Who would play them in the movie about them? But now you have to think about all the interesting things that you actually do, or things you think are interesting in your life that people are going to want to see. You know.
Well, this podcast would definitely be on my movie.
Oh, this would be a highlight. The friendship between you and I would be a very significant piece of my adulthood that I would want the world to see. And I would be willing to bet whoever played you would win a Best Supporting Actor Oscar.
Wow. Yeah. Man, that is pretty damn awesome that you feel that way. Because, I think that whoever played both of us, I mean, they would definitely get Golden Globe nods. You know, I mean, I think they would definitely get the Golden Globe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they get an Oscar for me because they usually go for the good-looking people. They don't go for the short, stocky guys.
I mean, who'd you get to play you in the movie though?
I'm wondering if like Kevin James,
dude, you can do better than Kevin James.
Matt Damon.
I would give you Matt Damon.
Dude, you could be Ben Affleck.
Would bet Affleck and Damon are the greatest autobiographical movie ever, the Liquid Kernedge story.
Oh, we'd call it Joyous Courage or something cool like that. Oh, God, I love it. Now all we need is someone to document our lives and follow us around and get our lives on paper, man.
Oh, my God, that'd be hilarious. The funny part is that Kevin Smith is very good friends with Ben Affleck, so I bet we could get him to play JP in this role because they look very much alike.
Oh, true. Who did we get to play Tom? We got to get someone to play Tom, too.
Someone to play our executive producer,
Executive
Tom.
Producer, yeah.
Find him on Twitter and Instagram, all at liquid_EP. Who does the crowd want to see play Tom? I don't know who would play Tom.
Yeah.
I would say...
Like Steve Buscemi?
No, not Steve Buscemi. That'd be funny, but...
I'm going to get notes on that one, dude.
You're gonna get huge notes on that one. I don't know, man. Like, I can't think of a blonde male actor right now.
Yeah,
that would fit Tom. But I'll think about it. We'll come back to that.
We'll come back to it.
I'm sure he's got someone figured out in his mind that who he'd want to get. For argument's sake, I'll give him Mark Paul Gosselaar from TV's The Passage right now.
Oh, that'd be good.
Could play a modern day Zach Morris.
That would work.
Yeah. Just I think he could appreciate that.
Hey, since we're talking about biopics, did you ever see the Black KK Klansman?
The Black Klansman? I think I told you to watch that.
Oh,
wasn't that good? Wasn't that good?
That was good because of a couple things. One, the story was just fascinating that actually happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that story actually happened. You could not make up that story.
No, not in a million years.
You could not make up the story. And so those are the kind of biopics that I really, really like. But one of the things with biopics you have to be very careful of is probably what's going on with the Ted Bundy is that you want to tell the story in an entertaining way, but you don't want to tell it so entertaining that it glorifies it or makes it unbelievable.
Yeah, and I think when you talk about the Black Klansman, you're looking at a story that's so unbelievable as it is. Like I'm not even sure how you pitch that as a fictional story in Hollywood. It's like, all right, it's the 1970s. You're in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and you're a brand new black cop is going to infiltrate the Ku Klux Klan, and we're going to get his white partner to be him in person, but he's going to play the Klansman over the phone, and it's going to work. And sometimes reality is way more interesting than fiction, and that's one of those cases.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, but those kind of stories, like you said, I could see why you could definitely get it to where you make it so entertainment that you forget the essence of the story, and it becomes just a movie. Yeah, that kind of takes away from that. So I'm with you there. But the Ted Bundy, I'm going to watch that now. That's going to be a good one. But there's only four episodes.
There's only 4 1-hour episodes to it, so it's not like it's not going to take up a lot of time. But it's still I've only seen the first episode so far as we're recording this show, so hopefully I can get some time to watch the rest this week or maybe this weekend.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
I love it.
It is a big weekend coming up. Our buddy JP's birthday is this weekend. It's Super Bowl weekend. So we are going to Extreme Midget Wrestling for his birthday. They're back in town. So
are they back in town on his birthday?
Yes, they are. Saturday night. So,
oh my gosh, isn't that amazing?
It's going to be wild. So happy birthday to our buddy JP. He's the big 4-1 this year.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Right? Ew. That's gross.
That's gross. Yeah, this is a busy time of year because we have, just in starting December, we have Noreen. Mm-hmm. And then we have Hefe, and then we have Chris, and then we have Sam, and then we have my mom, and then we have Taylor, and then we have JP, and then we have you.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting one other person. We have one other person that. So in a 2-month stretch, we have like 10 people.
There's a lot of birthdays in there too. Cadence is in there. Dean and Daniel's daughter.
Yeah, Cadence is in there. That's right. And then there's one other person that's in there, and I can't remember. Oh, Vicky.
Yeah, Vicky's in there also. That's true.
Too. Yeah. So let's just say that this has been a busy month.
It's
and then our summer's a busy month because then that's when we have Ricky and Julia and Danielle and then Dean, then me. I mean, it's a nonstop part. Like,
dude, it's crazy. It's almost like everybody has a birthday every year, and there's only 12 months in the year. It's crazy.
I know. I have to laugh. I heard someone recently say, "Man, every day I just feel like I'm getting older."
Yeah, well, that's because you are.
It's like,
that's because you are.
That's most stories. I love it. I love it.
Well, man.
Yeah. So what do you got planned for the game? We're gonna
go over to JP's. I think we're gonna do our spread. Okay. We've been discussing food over a group text, but it's not going very well because no one's responding. So it might be everyone's gonna get chicken nuggets and whatever they decide to bring because I'm tired of trying to coordinate this.
What's that? The Taco Bell box?
Yeah, the grande meal. I'm gonna get grande meals because they couldn't get their shit together. It's the one day a year where you can gorge yourself on whatever you want. And you gotta fucking enjoy it, And that shit drives me nuts, though, man. But yeah, I'm anticipating a good game. I would make a bet with you on this game, but I will not lie. I am pulling for the Rams here. I want to see the upset.
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely do not want to see. You know what? I would love to have this go full circle. Tom Brady won his first championship against us when he stole one. And he lost his last championship because me personally, no matter what happens after this game, the Patriots will not go to another Super Bowl. That is a prediction.
I do,
even if Tom Brady's playing, I don't think that they'll go to.
I think this is the changing of the guard. I think you see the start of a Rams dynasty for the next 3 to 5 years.
I don't know if I see a Rams dynasty, but I do think that the dynasty of the Patriots, this is their last opportunity. And I hope, obviously, I'm rooting for the Rams because they're my team. But if they don't win, hey, this is it. I think this is the last opportunity. There's too many good teams now. Too many good teams.
Yeah, that's true. And everything's catching up. For all we know, the Cardinals could be right back in there next year, too. With a couple of key free agents.
Hey, they signed Antonio Brown. Get Antonio Brown over there.
I'll tell you what, the only thing we don't want is Antonio Brown. I don't care what they say. Guy's a cancer in the team. He's a cancer.
No, he's a cancer that catches balls and gets touchdowns.
Yeah, you know what? We got young receivers that can do that just as well. So, not at $20 million a price tag. It's not worth it. We will have $30 million between him and Larry Fitzgerald. That's too much for two wide receivers.
Yeah, I'm glad they got Larry Fitzgerald back. Appreciate you rooting for the Rams. That's true friendship. And
hey, man, that's what friends are for.
I know. Have you been studying? Your women?
I have been looking at it. I have been preoccupied with the whole job thing, and doing my job and learning a new job. So by the time we get this scheduled, I will be ready to record about women's suffrage.
Perfect. And I will make sure that I come up for that weekend. I've already told Noreen that I'm probably going to do a guys weekend up there to cover that. So, she's more than welcome to come, but if not, then I'll be up there.
Sounds like a plan.
So
all right, buddy. Why don't you take us home?
Well, no, you have to do our promo one more time, or is that?
Well, I think if you want to hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, tell us your Super Bowl prediction. On top of how you unwind. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at Liquid Kernedge. And if you know who should play Tom in the biographical pick of us, hit him up at liquid_EP on Instagram and Twitter.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you. And thanks for all our listeners out there. Hey, go watch a biopic this weekend, man. Just have fun. Watch a biopic. I promise you'll get just as much enjoyment as we do. That was Scott. I am Jason. And as always, if you never know quite what to say, just have yourself some Liquid Kernedge.